a very own YouGoin'Pro podcast today. Welcome. We have a very, very special guest today, and his name is Tim Battle Jr., a former professional minor league player, is now the manager of State College Spikes and the MLB Draft League. He's the owner operator of Battlegrounds Baseball out of Atlanta, Georgia. In 2003, he was blessed with the opportunity to play professional baseball with the very own New York Yankees. The Yankees selected him in the third round in the 2003 amateur draft. In that same year, he was diagnosed with BC lipoma, and he can correct me later, in his left fourth rib. Immediately after that, he completed 6 months of chemotherapy and also went back to complete a 14-year career in baseball. Now that's pretty powerful. Baseball has taught Tim a lot. He has done a lot for him and his family. Tim plans to give back to many communities, especially in the Georgia area. His very own Tim Battle Jr. What's up, Tim? This is Coach. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, brother. I appreciate that you coming on, and I mean, you have a, a resume that it is powerful within itself. I mean, you're blessed to be alive, blessed to have your all your faculties, your arms, your legs, your heart. You moving and kicking. I mean, I know this ain't one of my questions, but reading your bio, 14 years. How did you get through that, brother? Going from, I mean, you just got drafted in 2003, Tim.
hmm
Tim, 2003? And how
Yeah,
how old was you then? How old were you?
I was 17 years old.
Shut the
Yeah,
front door, man. Shut the front door. 17?
yeah, I was young. And I just turned 17 too, so yeah.
Man, so how did you deal with that, brother?
Um, I was young, so like but I'd always played up, playing with the youth levels and stuff like that. So I was always accustomed to like, you know, that faster pace of play.
Right.
So I just kind of just did what I did, just playing baseball on a regular basis, just continue to play. And God blessed me with the opportunity to play with the Yankees, and I just took off with it.
Wow, the Yankees. I mean, I know you just and you're from Georgia, correct? Right, right.
Correct. Yeah.
So let's talk about this now. This is not even on my question, but we know we just got done with the World Series. I'm not a hater. I'm a baseball man, which I already told you what my favorite team is, and they stink. But how
Mhm.
did you feel after they made it to the playoffs this year? What was your intake?
I was excited about it for sure. I really thought they would pull it off, having the firepower that they had. But I knew baseball was a kind of crazy game too, and it's all about who's hot at that particular
Right,
moment.
right,
Um, and I was happy for them. I mean, I was
yeah,
very excited because I'm a Yankee alumni, and that team saved my life, so I continue to be forever indebted with them. So whether they win or lose, they're
right.
always going to be. I'm an Atlanta Braves fan first though, because I'm from
Okay,
Atlanta. So
okay.
I put the Yankees like right under that. So they're like in the number one spot still, but they're right under the Braves.
Oh,
I
Tim,
can't
no.
I can't back down on the home team, man. So
Tim, don't now you know people are gonna be listening to this. They're gonna be
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, I know. But I love them both equally. We can
okay,
just say that.
okay,
I've lived 39 years in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's been my home. But the Yankees, like, will forever, like I said, be indebted to me because they saved my life.
yeah,
Um, so I put them both in the same category. I don't really. I'd say they're
yeah.
50-50.
Okay, I got you, because you know the
Yeah,
ATL, you know our ATL brothers and sisters, they be like, "Hey, what you man,
yeah,
you hurting the ATL, man." It's all
yeah. And that's
good.
okay, and that's okay, man. And that's what they're gonna have to deal with that. So,
That's cool,
yeah,
man.
I think I've earned that right to be able to,
Right.
have a 50-50 say so on whether or not that those two teams rule my
Yeah,
life.
man.
But I love them both dearly for sure.
That's good, bro. That's good, man. And thank God that you was able to get drafted, because some guys don't get drafted. Period. So it was a blessing within itself just to get drafted. Did you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, brother.
Okay. All right. Which that leads to the next question. When you got drafted in
I can't hear
2000,
you, brother.
you can't you
I can't
can't
hear
hear
you.
me. Let me see. I'm sorry for some reason.
There you go.
Okay. In
I'm back.
2003, you got drafted out of high school. What was that process like, Tim?
Oh man. So prior to that, I had been playing on a lot of different travel teams, and I was just I never stuck with one. I was always bouncing from all the prospect teams just to try to get my exposure. Um, and then I ended up going to like the perfect game, showcases. And at that time, it wasn't consistent of a lot of different teams and different organizations. It was more just perfect game holding one big tournament with
Okay.
every team, representing their particular state, every player representing their particular state.
Oh,
And it was yeah, yeah. So I had a jersey, and I had a black jersey, and it had number one on it, and I represented Georgia because Georgia was the black team. Um, and
okay.
they had different colors or whatnot, but that's how they did that back in the day. And when I had a camp and a showcase down in Florida in Jupiter, down at the Marlins complex, the Marlins Cardinals complex, and I just remember just going out there, just playing really, really, really well and just seeing the other competition around me and just kind of seeing that how I equaled out to those guys, and it looked like I had a shot. Just being that I did what I had to do out there, and it wasn't like a drastic, difference of how my play was compared to everybody else's. So I was up with the top, players out there. So
Okay.
I just continued to play hard, and I came back and I worked out, and I just I ended up doing really well at my high school season. Even though I had the cancer in my body too. So,
Mm,
when I was going through that, I was hurting. I was playing every single day in high school. I was hurting. My body was hurting. I'm going to these showcases. I'm hurt. And still doing a really good job.
right.
So going doing that, and then getting drafted. When I got drafted, I just kind of I went to the Yankees, and I was there for spring training and whatnot. I played 27 games in the DCL, and like right after that, I had to come back to Atlanta and do my 6 months of chemotherapy. So
Okay.
that experience, like all together, it happened very quick. Just getting drafted. Finding out I had the cancer, get diagnosed, and then coming back and doing my chemotherapy. Um, so that was like a real quick time in my life where I got to see a lot of different things, and baseball it came to a halt. But a lot of the questions I asked the doctors and stuff was like, when would I come back? How quick would I come back? And that helped me a lot
Yeah.
too. Once I got healthier to be able to play consistently. So
Right. 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 So, with that being said, when you went to the workout with PG, what type of player were you? Speed, contact, home run. What kind of player was you at that time?
I would say my power was coming along. But I was definitely a speedy guy. I was like one of the top guys out there as far as speed classification went. Um, I would say my arm strength was up there too. Like I would throw the ball really well from the outfield. I would throw the ball at high velocity on the mound. Um, and then my just ability to run bases, that comes along with the speed. Defense was a major thing for me too because I was able to run the ball down in the gap and I was able to get the balls, cut balls off, get it back to the infield quickly. I was very
Mm-hmm.
accurate with my throws. And then my hit tool was more just I would hit the ball all over the place, but like I said, my power was coming too, so they knew that I could hit it out. Um, so I would like hit warning track, deep fly balls, just gap to gap and just kind of driving the ball all over the place, getting on base, stealing bases, just using. It's funny because like a lot of guys that I play with, they call me six tool, and most of the time it's like five tools, but like I
Right.
literally do every single thing. So it's just like I was just blessed with a lot of natural athletic ability, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not a lot of people get that opportunity to say that. And I just ran with it, and I played outside every day with my boys, my friends when I was younger. So that created a lot of different movements that I never thought I could be able to do.
Mm.
And then like I just got acclimated to baseball when I just kept practicing more and more.
That's
So
good, bro.
it's not a
That's
lot.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, so with that being said, coming from Georgia, what was your very first place you went? What was that transition coming from Georgia to your very first assignment in minor league? What was that, and where were you at?
I went straight from Atlanta to Tampa, Florida. That's where Yankee Spring Training Complex was. So I literally went there immediately. I didn't wait. I didn't try to wait for extra money. I was just like, where do I need to be? And I went straight down there. I started with the spring, with the extended spring training, and then I got diagnosed, came back home and did my thing. So after that, then I went back and just I was in Tampa for most of the time. Every time when we went down to spring training, that was where we were stationed. And
Okay.
then I moved on to the different organizations after that.
Okay. Okay. So coming from high school, your very first at bat, how was that? that transition coming from high school to minor league baseball?
It wasn't a big transition because I faced a lot of like prospects when I played here in Atlanta, coming up through high school. So just being able to have already experienced that high 90 velocity and still be able to hit it, and coming out of high school, and I wasn't like small, so I was strong, I was ready to go. Um, it was a big change, but like just knowing, learning how to hit with a wooden bat, that was the big
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
And then everyday type things because you can go back and forth in high school. You can hit with wood, you can hit with metal, but just being with it every day, like it just I got comfortable and I just loved hit with
Mm,
wood because in my opinion I thought the ball went further, but it was just all out on how you made contact and like how you did your thing. It wasn't like it was just my perspective.
okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. So when you got drafted, what was one of the biggest adjustments you had to make getting drafted, playing minor league ball? What was your biggest adjustment?
Oof, my biggest adjustment, not striking out as much because the pitchers were a lot better. Yeah.
Oh,
I used to strike out a ton, right? And then, I had to learn how to stop lunging. I had to learn how to create more balance and control. I had to learn how to create an approach, use my weight distribution, be on time. So those are a lot of the things that like kind of I'm glad that I went through because those are the things that I teach the kids now. So it's like those transitions, they matter earlier in your adolescence years, like as like when you get drafted, like if you're younger, 17, 18-year-old, because it's a transition of, just professionalism, like learning how to, go about your day to day, not
mm-hmm.
not, just think that you could just do everything that you used to do anymore. You're different. You're an icon. There's
Right.
people looking up to you. There's kids that come and watch you play baseball. They want your autograph. So you had to make some major adjustments. And coming from Atlanta, I was out there, and I was just having a great time and
Great
just
time.
being a kid and just enjoying my younger years. And then when I got drafted, it was you know a big surprise to like see, especially going to the Yankees, like how professional, no, like professionalism works.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
watching the big leaguers, go about their business, showing up to the field early in the morning. You're hitting at 7 o'clock in the morning. When at 7 o'clock in the morning a month ago, I was asleep. So just the day to day, But I loved
Mm-hmm.
it though because I was anticipating my daily activities and I was ready to go out there and play baseball. And I knew
Mm.
I played for the Yankees. They gave me a nice signing bonus, so my life was great. So
Right.
I just felt great about waking up and playing baseball. I was excited about it.
It was a dream. Basically, you were
Mhm.
living. You was really living a dream. Really
Yeah,
living a
I was
dream.
living in a dream. Correct.
So, with that, I got another question. You talked about the Yankees and you talked about that transition coming from having that diagnosed with that disease.
Hmm.
My question for the listeners that are listening now, Tim, what would you tell them if they're going through a similar situation, how to battle through that when they're so close to getting that dream?
Man, we had so recently at the Buck O'Neill conference, we had some conversations about like how you have perseverance and just like how you continue to just never give up because you never know where you can end up. So it was just like, you know, I knew that like it was a possibility for that cancer to halt my career, but at the same time, like I was young, I was ready to go, I was energetic, so I didn't think anything like that. My first question to the doctor was, "When will I be back?" And he told me the following season. And then I was blessed too at the time to be able to work with like some very influential individuals with like Lee Haney. He was a world class, world champion bodybuilder, and when I was going through my chemo treatments, he was the guy I was working out with.
Mm,
Every single week, I would go to
okay.
him 3 times a week, and you know, coming from my treatments, I would go to treatments every 21 days, and then I'll be with Lee Haney working out. So I was just blessed enough to be able to have the finances around me to be able to do what I needed to do to keep my health up to par, and then just kind of my family really, like my mom, my dad, my sister, um they helped me get to where I needed to be every single day, as far as like if I was sick or whatnot, like if they would come make sure I was okay. My
Mm-hmm.
mom would always take me, my dad would always take me to my cancer treatments.
Okay.
um it was every 21 days. So yeah, I had a lot of support. I think that's what
Mm,
the major thing was, is just having a lot of support and just
yeah.
like I had family down in Tampa, Florida as well. My aunt lived in Florida, so
Mm,
I was at her house. My cousin lived in Florida. I was at her house. Um, had a ton of support, so
wow.
it helped me. And then like as being young and energetic and just like on the prowl of life,
Hmm.
I was ready for it. I knew that that was just a little
Wow. A
small
little bump in the
excerpt that
road.
I'll get
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Tim, I want to say, man, I'm proud of you, brother. I've never was diagnosed with any kind of disease, but I want to say God is with you, brother. God has blessed you tremendously, man, and you're giving back to these communities. I've watched your videos. I've been watching you for a while, looking at everything you're doing, and just keep up the good work, man. Your light does shine. Just want to give you a salute for that because hey,
for sure.
some people can't make it, bro. Some people just can't go through that. Let's just call it what
Correct.
it is. They just
Yeah,
give
yeah,
up, cave in, and I can tell you that you talked about having mentors. Let's talk about your mentorship. How who was one of your? I mean, I know you have a mentor by the name of Tyrone Brooks. How has he been influential for you?
Oof, Tyrone, he's the reason why I've landed the job I've landed today. In the draft league, I met Tyrone at a Buck O'Neill conference that I just mentioned. Um, I think it was 2018 or so.
Okay.
And just by chance, I walked past a table and he was to my right. And he had known about me, obviously, because of me playing professional baseball, but I didn't know too much about him and what he meant to Major League Baseball. As far as the equity, diversity, and inclusion part of things, with the minority side of just having more minorities in the game on the professional side, whether it be player or business. Um, so he helped me understand that, and he helped me kind of transition into that business role. On the other side of baseball, not being a player anymore. And just being around him, over the years, he kind of understood, what my purpose and my goals are as far as like helping kids. And I mean, like you just mentioned, like I go live on videos. I don't do it for the audience. I do it for the parents, but it's created a buzz to where it 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 shows people like my character, how I have passion within the game, how much I can give back, my trust that, and loyalty that I give to baseball, period. And just, the love that I have for the game and the fun that I have with it. And not only that, the relatability with the kids,
Yeah.
so being in that, helped me show him that this is really what I wanted to do with my life, and just pushed it for me. And I got to meet some great influential individuals going to these Buck O'Neill conferences, and he put me in the right hands of Sean Campbell, who is the executive director of the Major League Baseball Draft League. And one day I went to the winter meetings, and just by chance, I talked to Sean. I was the hitting coach the previous season, and I told him that I think I could hold that managerial role down, and he gave me an opportunity. So it all started from Tyrone. Just you know understanding that people like me who has been in this game over 20 plus years, um, we need our opportunity. You never know what people have went through. Um, you
True.
never know what one person can do to change the lives of individuals or organization.
Right.
That's why I look at it,
Mm-hmm.
because I put a lot of years in this game, and I've embedded my life into it. So just to kind of finally get an opportunity to just get spurts of people seeing what I can do. Like he helped me do that. Him
Mm.
and Bo Porter at that particular time when I went to the equity, diversity, inclusion program. Um, it just kind of it boosted me on that side of things to like kind of just get to where I needed to be
Yeah.
right now. And I'm not finished yet. I just recently went to the Buck O'Neill conference this past weekend and met some more people. Networked a lot more.
That's good.
Was able to tell my story a little bit, kind of what I'm telling you, and it was
Mm-hmm.
cool to kind of see how people
Good.
responded,
That's good.
because they took it in and they understood that like everybody is an individual, and it's not just about you know what they did at that particular time for the game, but like they can literally change the lives of you know people in professional baseball, not only just professional baseball, but the lives of kids,
Right. Right.
from doing all this. So it's like a full circle type thing.
Right.
So
Right. Right.
he
Right.
helped me with it, man. I,
That's
I
good,
will
man.
forever love that program, that they continue to do it every single year. Um, They have them out in Arizona where they have coaches clinics and they have scouting clinics, and they give everybody an opportunity as women and men, young and old, um,
That's
different
dope.
backgrounds, different races, and it doesn't matter. You can just see the bigger picture now, and
Hmm.
not just letting everybody get an opportunity to try to see what they can do in professional baseball to help out.
Right.
So it's
Appreciate
pretty
that.
cool. It's cool.
That's good, man. I mean, so you talked about this Buck O'Neill conference. Can you tell the listener what is a Buck O'Neill conference and why do you think it's impactful?
The Buck O'Neill Conference consists of Major League Baseball minds. On the minority side of things is more African American side. Well, at this particular conference is more Spanish, Hispanic, shoot, all over. You're talking Dominican, you're talking Venezuelan, you're talking, you know, equity, diversity, inclusion, and it's funny that you say that because it's like when we was talking this past weekend, it wasn't just about black or brown. It was more or less just what type of progression that we can have, as a whole, and come together, and be, a unity within one. It's not about color, race, or all that good stuff, but it's about coming together and creating, equal opportunities for everybody included, whether you're white, black, brown, purple, or pink.
I got it.
Um,
I
so
got you.
that was the big, talk this time, and I think that opened up a lot of minds on inquiring minds on like just how we can still continue to grow this game on the professional side
Mm.
and help guys get to the big leagues. But that organization has been going for over 20 plus years to where um, Steve Williams and Courtney, I think his last name. But these two guys started back in the day. Goodrum, he's one of the guys that helped out with this thing. And they started it, and they basically wanted to see how they could help, you know, people get into the game outside of playing. Right. There's a lot of coaches that want to continue their careers but don't get an opportunity and don't have the education after even getting out of playing professional baseball. They don't know what they're going to do next, right?
Right. Right.
So that program allows us to kind of understand that there's educational sides of this baseball thing where you can start learning and you can get degrees and get into that business side where you can be an analyst, you can be a scout, you can be front office intern or just somebody within the organization that can help
Mm.
push um, the ladder, what I'm saying, to be able to, it's not just necessarily professional baseball players. You see everybody getting into this thing now. So, that's a big reason for the buck. And then, just to kind of get notoriety for everybody, to make
Mm.
sure that everybody has their equal say so in things to, kind of, get their opportunity. That's the thing.
Right.
Everybody has a voice and an opinion about different things. So, to make sure everybody is counted, not nobody's left out type thing, so.
Wow. That's
That's the
good,
whole
Tim.
reason for the buck.
Man, cool. I mean, Tim, that's good news, man. That sounds good. Which I got another question that this is another question outside of that. Do you know what do you think about MLB Urban Youth League? So can you give us an intake on that because it all sounds pretty much close following each other because all these different organizations like the Buck O'Neill Conference, the Equity, Diversity, Inclusion. What is MLB Urban Youth League? Do you know anything about that?
I do, man. We was at Dale Matthews actually runs that program with Major League Baseball, and it's like there's like nine different things. Like as far as like the Breakthrough Series, I think Nike has something. Um, it's like the Dream Series. So these are a lot of like different youth. I think something that goes on in Chicago. And there's a spot in Kansas City. I think the Negro Hall of Fame is out there. So they have a ton of organizations where they 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 get these major league former players and just guys they work in professional baseball to help run these tournaments, really, and just showcase the kids, try to help them create exposure. The thing about that is, though, is that like obviously the kid, has to have some type of ability. So there's showcases to where you can go out there and try to, it's basically like filling out an application. You go out there, you showcase your time and your ability, and just make sure that that you're up against the top tier, players out
Right.
there, and
Hmm.
for the Buck, it's funny because it's like majority of those youth urban youth organizations run through Dale Matthews, which is one of the major organizers with the Buck O'Neill conference, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
so he's a major contributor to it. He's one of the head faces in it, and so we was actually looking at every single tournament that they have for these particular kids, and it's a lot that's being done. I think that there's a lot of influence being pushed by people who know what they're doing in the game, and they're including people now who, like I just mentioned, not only necessarily have the knowledge of playing baseball, but like actually went to school and and analyze the game and help improve that on the technology side as well. Because
Okay.
that's a major thing now with professional baseball. You see analytics, and you see a lot of the technology, and the visualization and things, and the the spin rate on the breaking ball and the Rapsodo and the Pythons and the synergy apps, like all of those are being incorporated. So,
Hmm.
you know,
Okay.
you get the kids in these organizations, in these tournaments, in these urban youth things to be able to see what that looks like and to help them understand that this is what you're going to be exposed to, in the future, and this is how you need to acclimate, how you go about your business.
I
So
got you.
it's awesome, man. I wish I knew more, honestly, but I know a lot about it. But it's cool to see what it's doing for the Major League Baseball community as a whole.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's from top to bottom, from Major League coaches to youth league coaches.
Oh, okay.
They
I
they
got you.
they recognize that. They
I
recognize
got you.
everybody.
I
Nobody's
got
left
you.
out. So it's cool.
Well, it's interesting you said that because I was just start thinking, which you know where I'm at in South Florida. Why is some cities have urban youth league and some cities don't have it? Because like I live in a big
Um,
city and they don't have it here. I'm just trying to figure
yeah,
that out.
I think
Do you,
more of staffing, like just having people that can be there and in that particular city and actually organizing an event.
okay.
And then
Okay.
just the culture of the environment. Like a lot of cities don't necessarily strictly run on baseball.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
and there are focused cities, like Kansas
Yeah.
City, Chicago, Atlanta, Florida, Texas. And I can name them off the top of my head. Now,
Right.
the ones that don't have it, you can't name those cities. So it's like they have to, you know, try to create. In my opinion, like try to create. I would
Yeah.
say, because I have a lot of friends, like for instance, my boy Roosevelt Brown. He's out in Mississippi.
Right.
He's creating. So and they don't have that out there,
Right.
and that's a different type of town. So
That's
it's
right.
like, so it's
Yeah.
like, you know, to be able to create and to create that buzz for it, to have something stable rather than just having something broken up and just kind of trying to piece it together. You
Right.
got to have
Right.
organization.
I got you.
Things have to be managed in a certain way. So
I
I
see what
think
you're
that's
saying.
why. Yeah, I think that's why, because they're not, certain individuals are not in certain places.
Mm.
So it's like
Okay.
you can't just do everything. But
Right.
it's funny you say that because we're talking about expanding with the Buck O'Neill, because like we are the main people who can create that, and the influencers in Major League Baseball in 2024 right now, moving forward, that can make that happen. So
Okay.
it's just,
Okay.
it's just opportunity, and it's like you just got to be have an open mind and just be able to have create change. That's the major thing. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
there's a lot of people like me in Atlanta, and I feel like that's the reason why Atlanta flourishes the way it does.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. You.
tons of people like me. There's a
You.
lot of best trainers in Atlanta, and there's a lot of minds like that. So
Yeah.
they all care. People
Man, that's
actually care
I see that
about
because
baseball.
that's good stuff, man. I mean, because Atlanta is a city. You got the Braves, you got the Hawks, and you got the Falcons. I
You got the
mean,
Gwinnett Braves.
yeah,
You
everything.
got the Rome Braves. You
You
got
got
the
you got
I think
everything.
it's a new team in Atlanta for the AA team. Yeah, it's a lot.
I mean, but then if you go, let's flip it over to my city. Go to Miami. We don't have Urban Youth League here, but we got the Marlins, we got the Heat, and we got the hockey team. And I'm like, I started thinking about this because I've been here 10 years, and I'm like, why we don't have Urban Youth League here? I'm like, Why is that? And then you don't know who to call. I'm talking for the listeners as well, not just for me, because I'm like you. I like to give back. I'm gonna give back to the community. I want to help because I know there's a lot of kids that wish we had the Urban Youth League. And me and you could talk about that later on another day, another topic. But I just wanted to say that because I know people are gonna be listening. Like, hey, Coach Laurie, what? Ask Tim why they don't have Urban Youth League in Miami. Well, we're gonna me and you can talk about that later. So that's a topic where you can get me in the right direction. Which Tim, we're gonna talk about your career. Can you tell me what was it like your very last year you played? Did you know it was your last year, or you kind of had it in your brain, or what made you make that transition for your 14 year? Because the first year you wasn't giving up, you were done. You like, listen, I'm in this, I'm stuck
Yeah.
like Chuck. So
Hmm.
what made you think that this 14th year that you played, 11 or 14 years, I apologize. What made you say this is
14.
it? What do you think?
Well,
What?
my last year, I was in Japan,
Oh,
and yeah, so that was in Kochi, Japan, Kochi Prefecture, um, and it was a great experience, to be able to go out the country and play, later in my career too. Like, it was my last year, and I I ended up when I was in Atlanta. Previous to that, I had conceived my daughter, and
oh,
yeah. So
okay,
when I left, I knew she was coming. So it was a mindset thing on like, am I going to continue to keep playing? And then like, I need to figure out what I'm gonna do with my daughter. So I just kind of, the no brainer. My daughter meant more to me at that particular time than baseball, and I knew that like teaching and coaching. I was already training kids. Before I had left my final season when I went to Japan, and I just kind of understood that was something that would eventually come to an end, and that I could make a serious change with helping kids.
okay,
And I had a great organization that I went to when I left baseball professionally playing was Foundation Sports here in Peachtree City, Georgia, and a guy by the name of Steve Smith took me in. He allowed me to work in that facility and allowed me to get my clientele up and allowed me to establish myself as a trainer. And
mm,
that kind of helped me as well. It was a great family who, they took their time with me. They paid attention to what, I could do for the community, and they allowed me to do what I needed to do. So,
wow,
so it wasn't hard for me to transition because I knew what I wanted to do next.
mm,
Um,
okay,
so even like playing professional baseball, like I was always helping my players. I would always remember conversations with, players who made it to the big leagues on like how I would take my VP compared to theirs, so we can help each other. So that kind of helped me understand that teaching, would be my purpose after that. So, and then just wanting to stay around the game. I didn't ever want to give up, you know, being around the game because it was just like my life and everything that I've
I
ever
got you,
done.
right,
So, so that helped too, just to know that I could help in a different way. And
okay,
then, at that particular time, it was going really well. It was around the COVID year, and people were really kind of just bucking the system, and they were working. So they were outside because a lot of people were at home. Nobody had to go out to work. Everybody's kids were there, so we were able to work and get it in.
oh yeah, okay,
Regardless of what was going on. So,
correct,
and that
correct,
kind of just pushed me through. I started my LLC, and then it just took off from there, man. I just knew that, that was what I wanted to do long term. And then, like, I met Tyrone in 2018, like we talked about. And then from there, he helped me transition into the business side of baseball.
I
Like,
like
that's
that,
just
man,
something I've always wanted to do.
man, I
And
like that, bro,
I never wanted to leave baseball. So, like, that was just the thing. Like, everything happened for a reason,
mm,
so it was easy to transition. I had my daughter at that particular time, so I was able to, gain that love from her, and just
mm,
to know that she needed me. So, and then at the same time, like I knew that like eventually I would have to start, getting out and traveling and doing more, because travel baseball is about that anyway. You got going different state to state, but it's not like prolonged. Short periods, maybe a weekend, um, and then just you're growing in that department as a coach on the youth side of things. It helped me understand that yeah, I can help there, but I think I'm more valuable with the professionals.
I
I
got
think
you,
the relatability with the youth is there as well, and I think that I have a talent with that that not many have because of just the understanding of the game and how to break it down and critique it the right way.
Yes,
Uh, and literally have a 4-year-old understand it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, like it's not, I train 4-year-olds, bro. Like real talk, bro.
sir.
Like it's crazy.
Oh wow.
But like, but I think that's the blessing that I instill too, with like just understanding life, like through cancer and just knowing how people are, and just
Mhm.
knowing like my day to day with like
Right.
individuals and humans, how they act and respond to life,
Right.
and how you can change someone's mind,
Right.
um, just through the game of baseball, and to not only do that, but just like to help a kid, be successful in their entire life, starting at such an early age. Like that's how I look at baseball. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just like understanding the critique of the game and just breaking it down and helping you understand your mechanics and your swing and your mentality, but it's more like what can we do to help change the world at the same time? Because if you are that dude and you actually take in what I'm telling you, you can become a superstar who can literally be the right famous person that we needed to be famous.
Yes, sir.
Um, and then you change a whole group of people. Like that's the way I look at it, man. That's
Yes,
why I
sir.
feel like that I'm just gonna continue. You feel that? Like that's how I feel like I'm just gonna continue to do this, and I'm gonna continue to grow and just have success and moving up in my life and having promotion after promotion because like I love the game.
That's good.
I know it's a steady process though, but like that was the thing. Like when I left baseball, like I knew that like this is what I wanted to do.
Mm.
That's why I'm talking to you right now
I
because
appreciate it.
you see what I'm trying to do, and I think I'm doing a good job at it. But I'm still humble at the same time because that's what I've learned.
Yeah. Yeah.
To make sure that you understand that everything happens for a reason and God does everything for a reason. So
That's right.
you know, just try to keep an open mind about things and understand that people come and go, but at the same time, if I continue to do what I do, people will continue to come.
That's right.
So
Okay.
yeah, man,
That's good
I've
stuff,
learned a
man.
lot.
Good stuff, bro. That's good stuff, man. Which leads us to the LLC Battlegrounds Baseball. Talk about that. What do you specialize in for kids that want to come in Atlanta drop in? So what do you specialize in Battlegrounds Baseball?
So I specialize in hitting and fielding, and base running. Just and I do pitching and I do catching stuff, but I don't do that as often because it's just like not my where I was playing at. I was more an outfielder. I can play infield because I have good footwork and I just learned from the best. So just knowing what those small details entail. Um, I feel like that's why I'm able to do other things, other than my specifications just as an outfielder or as a hitter. Because I was multi, talented in different things, and I learned different things that can help players improve on different sides of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing though. But like I said before, like I feel like I'm more of a mentor to these kids, like literally like I should have a degree in psychology because it's crazy as it sounds, but like because I've changed kids' lives. Um, I've changed introverts into extroverts, which is hard to do, and you know, um, just starting with them super early, I'm able to like you know kind of help them understand what success feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And it's through a game
Right.
because you're just hitting the ball and you're just understanding where confidence comes from, and then you just grow in a whole bunch of different departments because you're able to teach the parent as well. Um, it's not just a kid, so I feel like that part of it too is missed because you don't really understand that like while you're teaching the kid, like the parent is right there listening. So the reiteration has to be done at the house. So goes back to what I said about my videos and reason why I do that because the parent needs to see and the kid needs to hear it. And I think visualization is a big thing in kids' lives that helps them, grow and understand, things a little bit better, especially this day and age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because back in the day, we were more in tuned into our books at school, right? And nowadays kids are more technology wise. So, to be able to see something rather than read something on a piece of paper, which is not a good thing, but at the same time, it's like you have to, adapt to your climate. So
Right.
it's like So it's like to understand that as well. And then
I
for
got
me
you.
too, I think that being where I'm at in professional baseball, being with the draft league and seeing all the technology that's coming along, I'm able to instill this into the kids and help them understand what needs to be done in order to still, you know, be advanced and be ahead of your class. And at the same time, still advance in the fundamental part of the game with your mechanics and your understanding of playing baseball the right way. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why I started my business. But like as I'm speaking, like it's like a lot of things that entail my business now because like these are the things that I've learned that along the way, and I've just kind of pick them up and just put them in my bucket in my pail, so that I can still use these tools, um, with my business. So it's not just baseball, swinging the bat, and not just catching the ball. You're gonna learn about life and about how to play the game the right way. And
Mm-hmm.
I put life first because baseball is a game, and
Right.
life is a lot bigger than that because you never know what tomorrow may hold. So it's like you gotta understand that like it's not just all about the game. You go out there, you have fun, but you have to be disciplined, and you have to stay focused. Um, so there's a mentality that comes along with it. That's why they say
Mm-hmm.
90% physical, 90% mental, and 10% physical, and that really means that.
Right.
And I think that the ones that make it to the next level are the ones that take that in
All
and
right. That's
understand
right.
that
You're right.
wholeheartedly. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
I understand totally what you're saying, brother.
mhm.
You said a whole lot of great information. I mean, you're like an encyclopedia. If people don't know what an encyclopedia is, they got to go look it up.
Yeah,
Back in the day,
exactly.
we know what an encyclopedia is, but go look. You're like
Yeah.
a walking encyclopedia. And what I like about you, basically, what you're telling the audience is. By the way, for the people listening right now, I got Tim Battle, minor league professional, was drafted 2003 by the New York Yankees. He's here live on the You Going Pro podcast, doing a great job, giving us some great information. He has a company by the name of Battleground Baseball out of Atlanta, Georgia. Hey Tim, can you go ahead and send out your information for the listeners as well, if you don't mind, your channels and your contact?
Yeah. So you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all those things. With Battlegrounds Baseball. Battlegrounds Baseball is my business. Grounds has a Z on the end of it, so Battlegrounds Baseball. And then my name Tim Battle Jr. You can find me on all social media networks like that as well, Twitter, you name it. I
Okay,
just I have those platforms so that parents can see that and just I can market and promote my business more
I
so that
got you.
people can understand what I'm trying to help and do for the game.
I got you. I mean, I love it, man. I mean, what I like what you said is you talk about life outside of baseball, because that's what I do at You Going Pro. That's the purpose of why I call it You Going Pro. You're going to be a pro in something. It may not be baseball, it may not be football, it may not be basketball, but you can be a pro in something. It depends on what God's gift given you, what God's gift you have, and maximize that and be a proficient in what God's giving you. That's the purpose of You Going Pro. We help athletes develop proficiency. See, the people think pro is like I'm gonna be a baseball player. No, that's just a little. That's like an appetizer just to get you in. So, like you just talked about, basically you're teaching them life skills. Am I right, Tim? You're just teaching them life
Correct.
skills. The key is the platform is baseball, but the whole caviar, the big thing, the big body of it is life. You just taking baseball and applying life and how you deal with adversity, how you deal with setbacks, how do you deal with things don't go your way, how do you deal with when things are going good. I mean, I said that because my story is a little similar to yours. I like to interview people on the show so people can hear your story, hear your story. So, okay, man, Tim Battle Jr., man, that brother, he was man, how did he go through that, But, like you talked about mental. Let's talk a little bit about mental. Is mental one of the most important things in baseball, would you say, Tim?
Yes, like I just mentioned, 90% mental, 10% physical. You have to have a strong mind and be able to adapt with baseball because there's a lot of adjustments that need to be made. There's a lot of different things that happen at one time. Um, because the baseball is a game of inches. You're playing with a round ball and trying to hit it back with a round bat. And then it's moving objects and it goes at a high velocity and speed. So you have to be able to be aware of things. You have to anticipate things. You have to be able to, be athletic, have fast twitch mentality, and a fast twitch physicality as well.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's more of this anticipation. So the mind's always going and just knowing what to do next in
Mm-hmm.
baseball. Especially like if you've been around the game for a long time, it's just it should become natural to where
Natural.
you're able to just know what to do
Do
next. Like
right, right,
baseball is
right.
a
Know what to do,
very
when to do
intricate
it.
game.
You ain't got to
Mm-hmm.
think about it. It just happens. You know.
Happens.
I mean, I've got one more question for you. Now, this is one of my questions. It's called the play of the day. Now, Tim, you have not shared very much about your baseball career, which we talked a lot about a lot of stuff, which is great. But this is some exclusive information. Can you give us one play of the day that you've experienced yourself, like an ESPN play of the day that happened that most people don't know about when you're playing?
In, in my life that I was
Yeah,
when I was playing.
yeah. And who are you
So
playing
you,
with?
I know you remember Ian Kennedy,
Yeah,
Texas Rangers,
yeah,
World Series, a lot of
yeah.
them, Kansas City Royals.
Yes, yeah.
So
Go ahead.
he was pitching, and we were playing at Vero Beach down at the Jackie Robinson complex.
Okay.
And this is before they made the new fence. This is before they put the new scoreboard up.
Mm-hmm.
Before they put the new dugouts there.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like a little pit, and a fence around the dugout. And so Ian's pitching one day. We're playing against, I think it was Tampa Bay at that time. Um, and I think it was Gamble. It's like Gamble. Was it Gamble? Dude, they was playing against the Brewers. No,
Okay.
was it the Brewers or the? Because it was Brevard County was out there, and then Vero Beach was there. I think it was Vero Beach and Tampa Bay was there. Ian
Mm-hmm.
Kennedy was pitching. Yeah, I think it was Gamble, but dude hits a bomb to right center field, right?
Okay.
I take off, boom, run into center field, run into center field. I look at the fence and I go to jump, right? I jump, my my quads hit the fence. Now we're talking about a 6 foot fence. I jump up, my quads hit the fence. I feel my body hit the fence. I catch the ball and I fall and tumble over the fence, right? And then I get up, I hold the ball up, out. And that was like a game saving play, and I'll never forget that because like just knowing like because one the next day on the bus like Ian's on the bus with me and he's calling my phone and he's like acting like other people like trying to mess with me. So it was just like cool to like to see that happen like back in the day when we played like not knowing what our life entailed and then to
Yeah.
see my man make it and do his thing, moving forward, like that was a
Yeah.
cool moment for me. Obviously, there's plenty more, but
Right.
that was like the major one because like I literally went up over that fence. I almost like jumped over it. I did that a lot though, like in Tampa, like because the fence on the side was like so short, so much
Sure.
shorter, like right at your knee, and like you can dive into the bullpen and make plays. I'll never forget this too. Like one day I made a play. I literally they would put the chairs up on the metal, you know, benches. They would put the other chairs on top of it so they could sit higher up above
Right.
that little fence because they could barely see above it
See.
when
Correct.
you're sitting in a regular chair. So
Mm-hmm.
they would elevate themselves. There was a chair sitting up one day, and I'm playing left field in Tampa Yankee Stadium, and then I'm running to the sideline because I love to dive. Like I love to do it because I can make the play. So I dove one day. I dove through a chair, caught the ball, and the chair was wrapped around my waist. I came up, I had to throw the ball back in, take the chair off my waist, and then come back in. I'll never forget that. They was
Oh
like, "How did
man.
you catch that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just dove, and the chair was there." Because I went through the chair first, caught it, and they're just like,
Man.
"Wow, bro, you all right? You all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good," because my adrenaline's pumping too, right?
Yeah.
So I ain't
Yeah.
thinking about that. I'm trying to get the ball back in. Like I got a chair, got a
I
chair
like it.
wrapped around
Yeah,
me.
well, man, that's cool.
I
That's
got another,
cool.
I got another story in
Go
Tampa
ahead.
in spring training. In spring
Oh.
training, I was taking fly balls in center field during batting practice, and I was running through to right center field one day, and I was running like super fast, and I just never forget. I had my shades on, and a dragonfly came and like got underneath my glasses, right? So I'm like running, and I just stopped all completely and threw my glasses off, and like the ball got. It was in the game. It was in the game. Yeah. I stopped, threw the glasses off, and the ball like went to the fence. I had to run out there, grab it. They're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Man, a dragonfly was underneath my glasses." Yeah, I don't know. Y'all thought I was gonna try to catch it with the dragonfly right there.
Oh,
Yeah, bro.
oh, oh, oh
Yeah.
man, I gotta stop, man. I gotta stop, Tim. That's too much. I was
Oh, I got another one. Check this out. So one day we was at it
oh,
was at Tampa Yankee Stadium, and there's a backfield, right? So Reggie Jackson's there with us for like a little stint. And
okay.
one day Reggie was just feeling himself, bro. He goes outside. We're taking batting practice. Reggie Jackson, bro, is outside. He's like, "Man, I'll show y'all young bucks how to do it." This dude takes his shirt off. He's like, no shirt on, no shirt. Out there taking batting practice with us, just smashing balls. And I'm like on the cage, like watching Reggie Jackson with his shirt off, just blast balls. And I'm like, oh my God.
Gosh.
Like it was so cool, man. And then like
Oh,
watching like Hal Steinbrenner and like George Steinbrenner come out the office from up on top of the Tampa Yankees complex. Like just being on the field, looking up and seeing Hal
mm,
and George standing up there, you like,
wow.
what? Yeah,
Wow,
bro.
man,
I got another
that's
one.
yeah, man. I'll
So
let you
so
go ahead. One more. Go ahead.
so one more. So I was with the so and I got drafted. I had the cancer, but the Yankees took me to the third game in the 2003 World Series out when they was playing against the
Oh,
Marlins.
okay.
And I was able to be in the front office, like up where the office is up top, and I saw my name on a draft board, like how they had the players in every organization, like from high A to low A, well from low A to triple A. I took my name off of where I was at, and I put it on the big league roster, and I did. And Cashman looked at me, and he's like, one day. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, well, we're gonna leave that there for right now. Yeah. I'll never forget that, bro. I was in the booth with
Oh,
Paul O'Neill, Brian Cashman, George Steinbrenner was there. Uh, it was crazy, bro. It was
that was
crazy.
at the World Series. You said in the World
Yeah,
Series.
I was in the clubhouse with like Jeter, Clemens, uh, Pettit. Um, remember Luis Soho used to play with the
Yeah,
Yankees.
yeah.
He was my manager in 2007 with the Tampa Yankees. I was at the World Series game watching him play in 2003. That's crazy, yeah.
Wow,
Right.
man. That's
And
man.
then I'm sorry, but
Go ahead.
Tommy John was my manager in 2004 in Staten Island. So, bro, my life is different, bro.
You
I've
said
seen
Tommy
so
who?
many people.
Tommy who?
Tommy John, the actual Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was my manager in 2004. So
Wow, man.
I got
This
to have him, bro. It was
man,
nuts.
Tim. This is a great episode, Doc. Man, this is good stuff, bro. This is. I mean, I know that Roosevelt, told you about me, but bro, I let you roll. I let you do your thing, man, because
Yeah,
people want to hear you talk. They want to hear you
yeah,
talk. Yeah, I'm just a good guest. I just know how to ask questions, let people do their thing, and let it roll, man. But I mean, I'm excited, man. You had me rolling. You had me. I mean, I'm cracking up. I'm over here crying. I'm literally crying on the air.
yeah.
You had me laughing and crying at the same time. Could you give us some closing remarks, man? If you want to leave us some closing remarks for our guests,
Oh
anything good,
man,
anything good.
definitely. So I watch Kai Cenat sometimes, right? And he's like a great person that was made famous as well because not only does he just like do what he does on the Twitch and the stream and stuff, but he actually give back, you know. And it's more of like the human nature about things and understanding what life is all about. So what I would say is never give up. You know what I'm saying? Because you never know, like I said before, what the next day entails, and you never know how you could change somebody's life, whether it be at the gas station to the grocery store or in professional, environments. And you never know what phone call will come next to, enhance your life to help many more people as you already do. So like that's the thing with me. I help people a lot, and I would just say never give up and just understand that like everything happens for a reason. Take my
Yeah,
story as a personal, experience, and put that onto your life just to understand that,
yeah,
if I can do it, you can do it. I was on the
yeah.
brink of death, and
That's right.
God had other plans.
That's
So,
right.
at the end of the day, don't give up, and you never know what can happen.
That's right.
Inquire your mind to different things, learn.
Mm,
Have influential individuals around you that can help you. Don't be afraid to ask. Um, and trust people and make sure you keep loyal people around you.
Right, man.
I would say that. Yeah.
Tim, that's great, Ross. I mean, it took us a while to get here, but we finally got here, bro. But this has been this has been a treat, bro. You had me rolling. This has probably been one of the best things. I've had some guys on here, but you had me crying, literally crying for these stories. I mean, you get the play of the day. I mean, that's why people can't just get this play of the day. I kind of had to cut it off. So if you want to hear this, is some good stuff.
I got a lot more stories, but like, but
That
yeah,
doggone
man.
Tim, that doggone Tim, man. I tell you, man, this has been a blast. I always ask my closing remarks. This is post game now. I got one last question for you before we close out. It's called post game. Got a post game talk. Every talk, after every game, the coach wants to talk to. Now we got post game. Now this
I
is a
like it.
question. This is for you now. This is just for
What's up?
you. Now, this person could be dead or alive. You got 30 minutes. 30 minutes only. Okay? 30 minutes, dead or alive. Who would you like to be mentored or talk to or play with, and why?
Mm. Doggone, that's a great question.
It can be dead or alive.
Yeah, I would say I would say Kobe Bryant.
Okay, and why?
Kobe Bryant because he liked to learn. Kobe never stopped learning. Kobe never stopped persevering. Kobe never stopped putting his foot on your throat. Kobe never stopped, helping people. Um, and Kobe was relentless. Kobe was a champion. Kobe wanted to win. Kobe had a aura about him that was just you wanted to be around him. Kobe was the man, and that's the first time I've ever said that about Kobe. But like, I just feel like he meant so much to a lot of people, and it's unfortunate that we can't, experience him anymore. But I think that his passion and his grit and his fight to be a competitor is above and beyond anybody that's ever walked the face of this planet, and that's why he is idolized as who he is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like and it can be it don't have to necessarily be sports, but I think that because he had an inquiring mind and like to learn different things outside of basketball as well, that
Right.
he's a very influential person
Yeah.
that could have helped a lot of people a lot more than he did. But I think that he still does through his foundations and stuff like that. And yeah, man,
Yeah.
he's a
Man,
man.
man, that's good
Yeah.
stuff, bro. I mean, I like that post game, which now we're gonna close out. And every question leads to the last question. I ask all of my listeners that are listening, where is your life leading? Where are you leading to? This is for all the listeners. Where are they leading to? And it's a word. We spell out lead. L. L is the first letter, right, Tim? And I
Hmm.
asked that question. L stands for listen. Tim Battle Jr. has been through so much. He's also now an owner of the Battlegrounds Baseball. And if you listen to the words of wisdom he's given you today, you should be able to execute everything he said today, because faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of God. And I believe God puts people in your life for a reason. But also, I want to make sure this is one of the things I talk about all the time, Tim. Listening was a reason to listen. God gave you 2 ears and one mouth. So I'm asking all of my listeners today to listen. That stands for L. E stands for execute. Execute everything you heard Tim Battle Jr. said. And the D stands for dominate. This is Coach Laurie. I want everyone to be blessed. Shout out to Battlegrounds Baseball, Buck O'Neill Conference. Check that out as well. Also, equity, diversity, inclusion is something you want to check out as well, because my man Tim Battle Jr. is an angel. He's been through so much. Tim, it has been a blast, brother.
I
A
appreciate you having me on, man.
blast. I've been trying to get you for a couple weeks. I finally
Couple
got you,
weeks.
and it has
Yeah.
been nothing but a blast. Hey, go ahead and reach out to Tim Battle Jr. if you're in the Atlanta area, you want to get some real down home, real good baseball and also life skill training. Tim Battle Jr. at Battlegrounds Baseball. That's with a Z, Battleground Baseball, on all his channels from Twitter to Instagram to everywhere you're going to get them. All right, Tim, bless, man. Stay blessed. Keep your head up. God bless you. No, stay stressed. Love you, bro.
Thanks a lot,
Take
man.
care. All right, man. Have
Thank
a
you.
good day. All right,
You
bro. Bye
too.
bye.